And with that intro out of the way, welcome to the 9th episode of Marvel Modding Highlights, where we take just a brief look at some of the best mods that get released each week. And today, we're taking a look at the best mods of July 1st through 17th, the first of two videos taking a look at the best mods of July 2020. And there were about 54 mods released during this time period, the top 10 of which we'll be taking a look at here today. And as always, downlinks and timestamps are just down below. So let's begin with our first highlight, which this time around is Vanity by Abbott. And as you might expect from a name like that, Vanity, this is a cosmetic mod. Vanity just finally makes it possible to see your equipped amulets and rings on your actual character, instead of just being invisible like they were in Vanilla Morrowind. And now you'll see the rings that you're wearing on both hands, in first and third person, as well as an amulet around your neck if you just happen to be wearing one. And this doesn't just go for the player character either, this also works on NPCs. This is just a really neat visual overhaul that adds some cosmetic immersion to the game here. And if you want to check out this mod in more detail, there's links to a number of videos by the mod author just down below here. Next up, we have Crossbows and Hands by Alice Agee and W.H. Reaper, modified by Venus. An update on the original mod by Alice Agee and W.H. Reaper. This mod adds a variety of new crossbows to the game, including silver, ebony, orcish, glass, bone mold, and data crossbows, complete with new varieties of bolts to, use as ammunition here. In addition, this includes a replacer for the Dwemer and steel crossbows in the vanilla game, and one of the really big updates with this, particular re-release of this older mod is the added support for weapon sheathing, as you can see here. Most of these new crossbows can be found in various level loot lists or in shops, but a few are unique and will need to be tracked down. But anyway, if you're a fan of crossbows, there's quite a bit to like here, and I'd recommend checking it out. But now, just going on here, we're taking a look at the Ebony Warrior by Ruffin Vanguard and Carice. This mod adds a bit of a boss battle, really, to the northern shores of the Shulgorad region, where you'll find a strange warrior just waiting for you at his campsite. Like Umbra, he has a bit of dialogue, but what he really wants is a duel to the death, with the promise of great reward should you, actually defeat him. This is a particularly tough opponent meant for high-end characters, and he won't go down easily or quickly, so you're going to want to pack a few health potions for this one. In fact, he nearly killed my cheat character, so, that gives you just some idea of just how difficult this fight is going to be. But once he's defeated, your reward is his armor and his sword, a fully new and a unique set of ebony armor that comes with a variety of different helms, including a closed and open-faced helm that just looks fantastic and is ideal for, those who use heavy armor. If you're looking for a difficult fight or just a new set of armor, this is just a great mod to check out here. But up next, we have Practical Pauldrons, Streamlined Shoulders by Kayam. Like the bow position mod, also by Kayam, this one makes a fairly minor cosmetic tweak to your, character's appearance, specifically the pauldrons, making a slight edit to the mesh here so that, at least cosmetically speaking, your pauldrons will just provide more protection. As an example, consider this armor set from the vanilla game. You'll notice there's a pretty big gap along the upper arms, which, the pauldrons are supposed to be protecting. Instead, they shoot off uselessly off to the sides here. And now, here's that same armor set with the new pauldron replacer. You'll notice that they now just provide practical proper protection, if you'll forgive the alliteration, for your upper arms here. And that's all this mod does, simply replacing the pauldrons for most of the main armor sets in the game, so that they'll have just a more functional appearance here. And if that's something you're looking for, this is just a great mod to, take a look at here. But moving on, we're next highlighting Trouble at Valenvarian by Rumley, a relatively minor quest mod. This just adds in a couple more miscellaneous quests for you to do at the Ursulaku camp after you complete the second trial for the Ashcon. Namely, this involves investigating the disappearance of a local hunter who was apparently ambushed and taken hostage by orcs at the nearby stronghold of Valenvarian. You'll have to do a bit of a rescue mission, fighting off orcs, and there's another quest that you can do depending on how, this one turns out. This isn't a huge mod or anything like that, but, it's a nice little addition that fits in immersively with the rest of the game here. And it's certainly worth checking out, especially if you want a bit more just questing content. And now, just going on, we next have Locks and Traps Detection by Ditu-V and Vitruvian Guar. And now, this mod basically makes it so that your ability to detect locks and traps is just a random chance, based on your security skill. And as you can see here, with my character's low-level security, the best you can do is detect potential lock ranges such as 0 through 55 or 1 through 40, but nothing, really too specific. And you might not even be able to detect a lock at all before, trying to open something. Even with a low security skill though, you can still figure out the possible lock complexity by using a lockpick just a few times here, though it might take a while. Likewise, you won't be able to detect traps with a low security skill, instead triggering them only with a probe or, by again just opening a container, making looting just potentially more dangerous. But if you have a high security skill, you might even be able to detect just a specific trap just by looking at it. There's also a configuration menu where you can adjust these settings a bit. And overall, this is just a rather immersive and neat little change to, how locks and traps work in Morrowind. But next up, we have Lulak Bashing by OEA, an interesting counterpoint to, our last mod. Lulak Bashing takes the concept of lock bashing from Greatness 7's mod, and just uses MWC Lua to basically accomplish the same thing here, allowing you to smash open locks with a weapon, like an axe or hammer or sword, instead of having to use a lockpick. But be warned, smashing open locks will break your weapon, so you'll want to just have some extra trash weapons on hand for opening locks, or, just carry a lot of repair prongs to fix the damage here. Either way, this is just a really handy mod for those who want to break into things without, having a high security skill. Moving on, we're taking a look at Sola Lingua Bona, the only good language by Safebox, a minor dialogue mod. This uses MWC to basically define two different languages in the game here, which effectively changes what some things are called, such as the names of regions, cities, birth signs, other notable locations, and creatures. Basically, this mod uses MWC to change all this dialogue depending on which NPC you're talking to, and whether they're associated with a native faction or an imperial faction. So for example, if you were to talk to a Dunmeri NPC, they might call the Grazelands the Suna Guaradan, and refer to Ashlanders as Velothi tribes, or call Mudcrab a Dogora. An NPC aligned with House Talvani will call Sadrith Mora, while an NPC aligned with an Imperial faction will call it a Mushroom Forest, which, is the basic translation of Sadrith Mora. To say the least, this is a rather minor but a kind of unique role-playing mod, and if you're looking for just an extra, immersive element to a dialogue here, you may want to give this one a look-see. Now, just going on, we have Find Shelter, MWC by Stripes, and, this is just a really simple mod. It just disables the ability to rest when out and about during bad weather, like, say during thunderstorms, or a blight storm, or during a blizzard. You won't be able to rest outside, and will instead have to find shelter, inside an interior, before you can rest, and that's really all this mod does. It may just be a little obsolete since the release of Ashfall, but if you want just this one specific feature, it might be worth checking out here. Finally, we have Lightweight Lewis Scheduling by OEA. And like the name implies, this mod adds basic NPC scheduling to the game here, disabling NPCs out wandering about towns at night, except for, guards of course, and locking doors for shops and homes, which won't open again until the morning. This is a fairly simple immersion mod that just makes the world feel a bit more alive by, making the time of day actually matter for when you want to interact with the people here. And there is a configuration menu that you can adjust here, where you can set what time NPCs will lock up for the night and to what time they'll reopen. And you can also enable or disable any of the features here just at any time. Now, I should note that according to the mod author, this mod has actually been abandoned because a superior project by Seal the Deal, if that is how you pronounce their name, I'm not sure, is supposedly in the works, but, all the same, it's a fine scheduling mod just by itself. But anyway, that's it for today, so, thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all next time.